Hello. In this video, I wanted to draw a grasshopper that I found. Yeah, it was actually really funny. I wasn't expecting to see such a creature that sticks out like a sore thumb in the middle of everything else on our back deck. So, grasshoppers' heads are like weird. They're like very triangular. I would start with a ball, but I think I will, because I'm doing it. Well, you know what? I'll go on a whim. I'm gonna draw a shape, this triangular shape that I'm seeing. Oh, I made it a bit too small. I have to do it a couple times. Yeah, I think that's good. Now I'm gonna draw. Oh, the other interesting thing is it has all of these interesting connections to it. And you'll see that all throughout its body, it looks like a armored bug. It has some insect armor, as I would call it. Okay, now I want to draw a ball that will be used as the thorax. I made it a bit too big. Now I'm going to draw, well, you know what, that's still too big. I'm going to draw them as separate this time, but I will be connecting them. It looks like there's an area like where the neck of the grasshopper connects to the thorax. It's kind of like a bit weird. I've seen this on a lot of hornets. Some of it's covered up by this armor that I've been seeing as well. They kind of look like plates of some sort that lay over and kind of cover connections, and they kind of act as glue. So I also wanted to add the antenna, and look, its antenna were so long. I was looking at this guy on a chair, and I was like, whoa, he's a long, very long dude. I also realized maybe I should have tried to show, like, the head's kind of going, it's a bit tilted more than I did it. It's a bit more like that than how I did it here, which is a shame. Maybe I can fix it. I usually don't try to do that now. Yeah, something like that. Oh, darn, yeah, I just don't like the curvature that I did. You know what, I'm gonna quickly try to do it one more time. And I guess this is an interesting lesson to learn, that maybe I should have started with that strong curvature of the head first instead of trying to do what I did, because it's a bit directional with how it's tilted. Something to keep in mind. That's more. We have that plate. You know what, I think it should be a little bit higher. Kind of like that. Okay, So back to the antenna. The antenna they were so long. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Um, I tend not to try to touch bugs. I try to be very hands off when it comes to nature. I mean, not that I have anything against. A bit too long. Not that I have anything against insects. It's just I kind of know that a lot of them carry different parasites, and I don't want to get those in any way. Yeah, you'd be surprised at how many insects have parasites of some sort, and I just, I let nature be, That's how I'll put it. It's doing its thing, and I'm gonna do my observing thing, The thickness on its antenna were so thin, except near the base. Like, the base, you had this very subtle ball-like thing, but then it just kind of tapered out, and then it becomes so thin that I really couldn't see the individual parts of the antenna that make it up. So on our grasshopper here, it looks like it has some like mandibles, some sort. I think grasshoppers are related, or I don't know if they're in the mantid family. I think they are. So they are voracious eaters. If you know anything about praying mantises, like they eat a lot. There's a little area down here that's connecting like the head to the thorax, like this. There's like a bunch of these connections to go through and wrap around everything. It's really interesting. So the other thing on the thorax, it's an insect, 6 legs. I want to try to draw some of the attachment points. The other interesting thing is, because it's a grasshopper, I've always realized that it's a bit obscured because of the perspective, but it always seems like a leg with any type of insect that can hop pretty far. Its back legs, well, one, they always have like this, not always, but I mean, what I've seen is they have, the back legs are like significantly longer than the front 4 legs. And it's something I've just picked up on again and again and again. And it's significant enough for me to think about. So we could kind of see the back 3 legs. They're a bit more difficult because it's obscured around the thorax abdomen area. But we see one leg kind of like coming out of, it's not coming out of the head, it's just on the other side, like over here and there. It's there, it's just not as easy. I did take other shots of this insect. It was kind of hard. Like, I didn't want to, one, I didn't want to scare the guy. And I also didn't want to touch his antenna. So it's really hard for me to get, it was really hard for me to get like a real nice close-up shot. It was hard for me to get a close-up shot because of its antenna were so long, and I didn't want my phone hitting the antenna and the grasshopper hopping away. It was a bit of a interesting challenge, although it was pretty docile. I think most insects are okay with you as long as you're not eating them. Oh, also, I realized I didn't draw this thing. I don't know the name of it, but I know it's used for hopping. I'm pretty sure. That's good. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the back legs. So I'm going to draw initial lines for them before I actually draw them. I'm trying to look and make connections between various parts. Like, I see that the leg is about, sorry, I'm just going to move that out of the way. It's about about that high, and I can make it connect. Now the other hopping leg goes here, about there. Yeah, I got some other shots, so maybe I'll have to draw a couple of them. But okay, back to the body. So I wanted to draw this part. It's kind of like another shell-like thing. It looks very flat, and it connects up here to this initial plate shape. That's how I see it. I see it kind of like slightly going under it. As it goes around the curvature of the grasshopper and comes around. And interesting, like I've looked at many hornets, and when I draw them, they always have these ridges to their body, and I could see some of those ridges. It's really interesting. It looks a bit square. Like, I know it's not, but kind of like goes around, does that. It goes, you know, I guess the other important thing, I should have drawn it around the whole ball. Like if I do this, it's kind of like this square-like encapsulation thing. It really does a good job at wrapping around the abdomen to act as a layer of protection is what I think it would be used for. Lucky for you, I do have a book on my bookshelf about mantids and grasshoppers that I have yet to read. But it is on my bucket list, and I look at it every day, so maybe one day. I hope. Yeah, this has always been the frustrating thing about drawing, in which I love to draw, and I love to learn too, but I sometimes try to put more of my time, and I guess you could say weight, into actual drawing than learning. And it's a balance game, like, but I just don't. I have so little time at the end of the day, when I could think. So I try to balance it out. But do learn if you do have an opportunity. Do both. I think it could be a cool tip if you want to. I call it active learning, in which if you could read some type of book and also draw at the same time, I think it could really help reinforce knowledge about something. The only downside to that is it takes longer time, but hey, when the point is to learn, who cares how much time it takes? I mean, unless you're in school, and I've always had certain issues with that, because I always felt like when I was in school, I didn't have time to really learn. I just had time to quickly memorize things, which was kind of my issue. So these hopping legs, they're really interesting because they start out thick, then they kind of thin as they're going to the top. They kind of look like chicken drumsticks to me. I know that sounds a bit bizarre to some people, but that's kind of how I think of these legs. And they're really solid S-curves. You know, if you think of like a drumstick, like, which would be like a leg, I believe, something like that. That's how I've been thinking about these legs. I also realized that the curve I made here for the back leg, it's a bit more. I made it that way when I think I should have made it that way. So luckily, I'm just gonna draw over it a little. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should try to. I don't like to erase stuff, but I'm going to like quickly try. Yeah, usually time spent erasing is wasted time when you could just draw to the side again. I should have looked more closely. It's a bit more here actually. Okay. Yeah, I was really surprised by this grasshopper. It let me get really close to it without jumping away. I was pretty interested by it. Okay. I always think of these like back legs as like tapering matchsticks. If you know what a matchstick is, I always used to be pretty bad at like lighting matchsticks, but I was at a friend's birthday a couple weeks ago, and I quickly learned how fast I could do them. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know I could do that. Okay. Yeah, these back legs are the little parts on the end are always interesting because I believe they're for like grasping on the plants and whatnot, trees, and they always look like they're like these cascading triangles until you get to the end, and there's some like significant gripping things. But yeah, they're always really interesting. They look like this, like a bunch of triangles that kind of. Although that's what I'm seeing, you may see something a bit different. A bunch of interlocking triangles. That's how I would. That's what I would say it is. Okay. I have a little bit more of the body to get. There are these connections that kind of go like, how do I put it? It goes around the body. It's kind of a bit difficult to see because there's a lot of overlap, but I see like these individual parts. Oh, also, the middle leg, it kind of does have another. It has like this bean-like shape that kind of tapers. It's kind of hard to see and draw. Maybe I should have done it in a different color. But yeah, I'm also seeing the mandible kind of does a little bit a thing like that. But yeah, maybe I should have drawn this grasshopper a little bit longer, but I did not. I also see this thing over here. It kind of looks like it lays on top of the whatever you call this thing. But yeah, that's what I am seeing. I took a lot of other photos of this grasshopper, so maybe I'll have to touch upon them and draw them in a video and see what else I can learn. Yeah, I was really happy to finally find a grasshopper that kind of shows the leg. I always like it when I could take pictures myself. I mean, granted, like, I think a lot of the photos I've drawn from so far, they're a lot better quality than what I have. I'm just using my phone's camera. But I always thought about getting another camera so I can take some better photos. I mean, my phone's camera is really good and it does a lot of good, but trying to get, like, macro. I believe they're called macro shots when they're up close, but they're sometimes very difficult to get, I'll tell you. Surprisingly, who would think they would be so complicated to get, you know. But then I'm just complaining here. But maybe I can make it work. It's too bad I can't draw. It's too bad I can't draw from them in real life. But it's just like they're moving. So unless you can capture every last detail, you're not gonna be able to get them in a fast way. But oh well. Yeah, thank you very much for sticking around in this video. Oh, I also realized maybe I should have showed that connection to the head of the antenna. But yeah, if you like the video, please like it. If you like my channel, please subscribe. And if you like, if you have a comment, you could ask below. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.